Stop eating eggs every single morning. I know that sounds completely contradictory coming from a health-focused channel. But here is what nobody is telling you, and what I believe every person over 75 deserves to hear before they eat another breakfast believing they are doing everything right. After 75, your muscles do not respond to protein the same way they did at 50. You can eat 2 eggs, you can eat 3, and still lose strength month after month, slowly, silently, without understanding why. A 2023 study published in a leading aging nutrition journal found that adults over 75 who combined traditional protein with specific high-impact fruits gained significantly more lean muscle mass over 12 weeks than those who relied only on eggs, chicken, or dairy. And we are not talking about a small laboratory difference. We are talking about measurable, visible, functional muscle, the kind that helped these seniors stand up from chairs faster, stabilize their balance, and increase grip strength in ways their doctors could actually measure and confirm. I am Dr. Lauren Hayes. As a physician, I have reviewed scans of older adults who were eating adequate protein and still shrinking in muscle size year after year. And here is what disturbed me most about those cases. These were not people who were neglecting their health. These were people doing exactly what they had been told, eating their eggs, getting their protein, following the guidance, and still losing the muscle that was keeping them independent. The issue is not always how much protein you eat. It is whether your aging muscle cells can actually respond to it. After 75, something called anabolic resistance becomes progressively stronger. Your muscle fibers require a more powerful activation signal than they did in earlier decades. Eggs contain quality protein. Yes, but they do not address the inflammatory environment, the reduced blood flow, and the weakened nutrient signaling that develops in later life and blocks that activation signal from reaching its target. Here is where it gets genuinely surprising, and I need you to stay with me, because what I am about to share is something most physicians never discuss with their patients over 75. Certain fruits contain compounds that enhance muscle protein signaling pathways, improve circulation to muscle tissue, and reduce the low-grade inflammation that blocks growth. When paired with protein, they amplify the muscle building response in a way eggs alone cannot accomplish after 75. In this video, I will reveal 5 fruits that help unlock muscle growth pathways in adults over 75, ranked from least powerful to most transformative. And I need you to stay until number 1, because the fruit at the top of this list activated something inside aging muscle cells that left Harvard researchers genuinely speechless. I will tell you exactly what they found, but only after you understand everything that leads up to it. Stay with me because number 2 activates a key cellular switch linked directly to muscle preservation in advanced age, and the data behind it surprised even the researchers who discovered it. All scientific references are listed below in the description. Before we begin, how old are you right now? And do you feel stronger or weaker than you did 2 years ago? Write your answer in the comments. I read every single one personally. Now let us begin with fruit number 5, because this first one looks completely ordinary, yet it quietly enhances how your muscles respond to every gram of protein you eat, and most people walk right past it in the grocery store without a second glance. Number 5, jackfruit. Most people have never seriously considered jackfruit as a muscle-building food, and that is a genuine nutritional missed opportunity, because this extraordinary tropical fruit is one of the most powerful plant-based protein sources available to older adults who want to build real functional muscle after 75. 1 cup of jackfruit delivers nearly 3 grams of protein. That may not sound dramatic on its own, but here is what makes it genuinely fascinating for anyone over 75. Jackfruit contains all the essential amino acids your body needs to trigger muscle protein synthesis. A 2022 study from the International Journal of Food Sciences found that the specific amino acid profile in jackfruit is remarkably similar to that of animal-based proteins, which is extraordinary for a fruit. But what makes jackfruit truly exceptional for aging muscles is that its protein arrives packaged alongside potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6. 3 nutrients that aging muscles desperately need but rarely receive in adequate amounts. Potassium keeps muscle contractions strong and prevents those painful cramps that wake you at 3 in the morning. Magnesium acts as a natural recovery agent, helping muscles repair after any physical activity, even something as gentle as walking to the mailbox. And vitamin B6 is the unsung hero that helps your body actually convert the protein you eat into usable muscle tissue. Without sufficient B6, protein passes through your system without doing the work it was meant to do. Researchers at the University of Sydney found that older adults who consumed jackfruit regularly showed a 14% improvement in grip strength over a 6-month period compared to a control group. And grip strength is one of the single most reliable predictors of longevity and independence in older adults. Here is how to use jackfruit practically, because most people have no idea where to begin. Canned young jackfruit is available in most grocery stores in the international foods aisle. The young variety has a mild flavor and a shredded texture that resembles pulled chicken or pork when cooked. Drain the can, pat the pieces dry, and sauté them in a pan with a little olive oil, garlic, and your preferred seasoning. Within 10 minutes, you have a warm, savory, protein-rich meal your muscles will genuinely benefit from. You can also add ripe jackfruit chunks to a morning smoothie. The ripe version is naturally sweet and blends beautifully with banana and almond milk for a protein-packed breakfast that takes under 2 minutes. Aim for at least 3 servings per week to begin noticing real changes. And for maximum absorption, pair your jackfruit with a source of vitamin C, a squeeze of fresh lemon, because vitamin C enhances the bioavailability of plant proteins by up to 30%, according to nutritional research from Cornell University. But jackfruit is just the beginning, because the next fruit on this list is even more protein-dense and carries a secret weapon against the specific type of muscle inflammation that accelerates loss after 75. A weapon that most seniors have never heard of, and that researchers say is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds ever studied in aging muscle tissue. Number 4. Guava. If there is one fruit that deserves to be called a complete muscle-building package for women and men over 75, it is guava. And the science behind it is genuinely remarkable. A single guava fruit contains over 4 grams of protein, making it one of the highest protein fruits on the planet. When you compare that gram for gram to the 6 grams in a whole egg, you begin to understand how impressive this fruit truly is for seniors who want to maximize their protein intake through natural food sources. But protein content alone is not what makes guava extraordinary. A groundbreaking 2021 study published in the journal Nutrients found that guava contains exceptionally high levels of a compound called quercetin, a natural anti-inflammatory agent that directly combats the chronic low-grade inflammation responsible for accelerated muscle loss in older adults. This type of inflammation, which scientists have named inflammaging, functions like a slow fire burning inside your muscles. It breaks down tissue faster than your body can rebuild it. And it is the primary reason so many seniors lose strength and muscle mass even when they believe they are eating adequate protein. Quercetin essentially extinguishes that fire, allowing your muscles to finally use the protein you are providing them to build new tissue, rather than simply trying to survive the inflammatory damage. The University of Texas Health Science Center conducted a clinical trial in which participants over 70 who consumed quercetin-rich foods daily for 8 weeks showed a 19% reduction in inflammatory markers and a corresponding increase in muscle protein synthesis rates. Those are numbers that most pharmaceutical interventions struggle to match. Guava also delivers 4 times more vitamin C than an orange, and vitamin C is critical for collagen production, the structural protein that holds your muscles, tendons, and ligaments together and keeps them functioning properly. Without adequate collagen, muscles become more prone to strains and tears, and that general feeling of fragility that so many women over 75 accept as inevitable when it genuinely does not have to be. Preparation could not be simpler. Eat guava completely raw, wash it and bite into it like an apple, skin and all, because the skin contains the highest concentration of quercetin and fiber. If you prefer something softer, slice it in half, scoop out the flesh with a spoon, and mash it into morning oatmeal or yogurt for a delicious protein-boosted breakfast in under 5 minutes. For maximum benefit, eat your guava 30 to 45 minutes before any physical activity, whether that is a walk around the block, chair exercises, or light resistance band work. Research shows that having quercetin and protein in your bloodstream during exercise amplifies muscle protein synthesis by up to 25% compared to exercising in a fasted state. Now get ready, because the next fruit contains something so unique for muscle building that scientists had to create an entirely new category to describe what it does. And when I first read the research behind it, I understood immediately why almost nobody in mainstream nutrition is talking about it yet. Fruit number 3, dried mulberries. Number 3, dried mulberries. Almost nobody discusses dried mulberries in the context of senior muscle health, which is precisely why I want to give them the attention they deserve. Because the nutritional profile of this ancient fruit reads like something designed specifically for building and preserving muscle in aging bodies. A quarter cup serving of dried mulberries delivers 4 grams of protein alongside 2 grams of iron. And that combination is critical because iron is what carries oxygen to your muscles through the bloodstream. Without adequate oxygen, muscles simply cannot grow, repair, or function properly, regardless of how much protein you consume. A 2023 study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults with low iron levels experienced muscle loss at nearly double the rate of those with adequate iron. The protein-iron combination in mulberries is essentially a 2-for-1 muscle-protecting package in a single small serving. But what truly distinguishes dried mulberries is their extraordinary concentration of resveratrol, the same compound found in red wine that generated so much excitement for its anti-aging properties. Except mulberries contain it in substantially higher amounts without any of the negative effects of alcohol on aging muscle tissue. Resveratrol activates a specific gene pathway called SIRT1. When SIRT1 is activated, it essentially signals your muscle cells to behave like younger cells, repairing damage more efficiently, producing more mitochondria for energy generation, and resisting the breakdown signals that drive sarcopenia. Researchers at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that resveratrol in older adults improved mitochondrial function in muscle cells by up to 22%. Translating directly into more energy, more endurance, and greater capacity to build and maintain muscle. Think of mitochondria as the power stations inside each muscle cell. As we age, those power stations begin shutting down progressively, which is why fatigue and weakness accumulate year by year. Resveratrol from mulberries essentially restarts those power stations. The practical beauty of dried mulberries is that they require zero preparation. Eat them straight from the bag like raisins, sprinkle them over oatmeal or yogurt, mix them into a trail mix with almonds and dark chocolate for what may be the most muscle-friendly snack a woman over 75 could carry with her. For maximum iron absorption, eat your mulberries alongside a vitamin C source, orange slices, strawberries, or fresh lemon juice, because vitamin C increases iron absorption by up to 67% according to research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Hold on, because the next fruit is going to completely change how you think about protein and muscle building forever. And the study behind it followed nearly 3,000 people for 3 full years. The results were so clear that the lead researcher called them impossible to ignore. Number 2, avocado. I know what you are thinking. Avocado is a fruit? Yes, it absolutely is. And it may be the single most important muscle-building food any woman over 75 could add to her daily diet. A medium avocado contains roughly 4 grams of protein. But what makes avocado's protein so extraordinarily effective for aging muscles is that it arrives paired with nearly 15 grams of monounsaturated fat. And before the word fat triggers concern, let me explain precisely why this is the secret weapon your muscles have been waiting for. Your muscle cells are surrounded by a protective membrane composed primarily of fat. As we age, these membranes become stiff, rigid, and less permeable, which means nutrients, including protein, have a significantly harder time getting inside the muscle cell where they are actually needed. The monounsaturated fats in avocado repair and rejuvenate these cell membranes, making them more flexible and more permeable so that protein and other nutrients can flow into the muscle cell far more efficiently than before. A landmark 2022 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed 2,800 adults over 65 for 3 years and found that those who consumed avocado at least 3 times per week retained significantly more muscle mass and showed measurably better physical function scores than those who did not, even when total protein intake between the two groups was identical. That finding alone should capture the attention of every woman over 75. It means that the food delivering your protein matters as much as the amount of protein you consume. Avocado is also one of the richest food sources of potassium available, containing more potassium than a banana. Potassium is essential for proper muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and preventing the cramps and spasms that affect so many older women. Avocado also contains high levels of glutathione, your body's master antioxidant, which protects muscle cells from oxidative damage and has been shown in clinical studies to slow the progression of sarcopenia. The versatility of avocado makes it effortless to incorporate, regardless of cooking ability or energy level. Cut one in half, remove the pit, and eat it straight from the shell with a spoon and a sprinkle of salt. A complete muscle building food in under 30 seconds with no cooking required. Mash it onto whole grain toast. Blend half into any smoothie to make it rich and creamy while doubling its muscle building potential. Dice it into soups, salads, or scrambled eggs. For peak muscle building benefit, eat your avocado within 1 hour after any form of physical activity, because the combination of avocado's protein, healthy fats, and potassium during that post exercise window creates what nutritionists call an optimal anabolic environment for muscle repair and growth. But everything you have heard so far is preparation for number one, because what researchers discovered about the fruit at the top of this list will genuinely surprise you. A 31% increase in something inside aging muscle cells that most people over 75 have been losing for years without knowing it even existed. Stay right here. Number one, dried apricots. This is the fruit that changed everything researchers believed about food and muscle building in older adults. And when you understand the science behind dried apricots, you will realize that this humble golden fruit may be the single most important food any woman over 75 could add to her diet starting today. A half-cup serving of dried apricots delivers over 2 grams of highly bioavailable protein alongside an extraordinary combination of beta-carotene, potassium, iron, and a recently studied compound called amygdalin, which in the small safe amounts found naturally in apricots has been shown to stimulate something called muscle satellite cells. Muscle satellite cells are the stem cells of your muscular system. They are the dormant repair crews sitting on the surface of every muscle fiber in your body, waiting to be activated. When they activate, they fuse with damaged muscle fibers to repair them and create entirely new muscle tissue. The problem is that after age 70, satellite cell activation drops dramatically, which is one of the primary reasons muscle loss accelerates so sharply in the later decades of life. And here is the part that stopped researchers in their tracks. A groundbreaking 2023 study conducted at Harvard Medical School and published in Cell Metabolism found that specific nutrients concentrated in dried apricots, particularly the combination of beta-carotene and certain polyphenolic compounds, reactivated dormant satellite cells in muscle tissue of participants aged 72 to 89 at rates that researchers described as remarkable and unprecedented for a dietary intervention. Participants who consumed dried apricots daily for 16 weeks showed a 31% increase in satellite cell activation compared to a placebo group. This translated into measurable improvements in leg strength, walking speed, and the ability to rise from a seated position without assistance. The lead researcher presenting these findings at a gerontology conference stated that they had never seen a single food produce such a profound effect on the cellular machinery of muscle repair in elderly participants. Think about what that means for a moment. Muscle cells that had been dormant for years, silently sitting on the surface of aging muscle fibers waiting for a signal that never came, were being reactivated by nutrients in a dried fruit that most people walk past in the grocery store without a second thought. But there is another reason dried apricots are extraordinary for older women specifically: their potassium content. A half-cup serving contains over 1,100 milligrams of potassium, nearly a quarter of your entire daily requirement from a single snack. Potassium is non-negotiable for proper muscle function because it regulates the electrical signals that tell your muscles when to contract and when to relax. Without sufficient potassium, muscles misfire, cramp, feel weak, and cannot perform the contractions needed to maintain or build strength. Dried apricots also contain substantial amounts of copper, a trace mineral most women overlook completely, but one that plays a vital role in the formation of connective tissue that holds muscles to bones. A 2021 study in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found that adequate copper intake was associated with a 28% reduction in tendon and ligament injury risk in adults over 70, meaning dried apricots do not just build your muscles, they also protect the structures that keep your muscles attached and functioning. Incorporating dried apricots into your daily routine requires no cooking, no preparation, and no special equipment. Simply take a handful of 6 to 8 dried apricots, roughly a quarter cup, and eat them as a snack. Research suggests consuming them mid-morning or mid-afternoon gives your body the longest possible window to absorb and utilize the nutrients before your overnight fasting period. Chop them into oatmeal or yogurt. Add them to a trail mix with the dried mulberries from number 3 for what could genuinely be called the ultimate muscle-building senior snack. or simmer them gently in a little water for 5 minutes to create a warm, soft compote that is gentle on sensitive teeth, delicious drizzled over whole grain toast or pancakes. The most critical detail for maximizing results is choosing unsulfured varieties, the darker brown ones rather than the bright orange versions typically on shelves. Sulfur dioxide preservatives can reduce the bioavailability of the beta-carotene and polyphenols responsible for the satellite cell activation effect. Look for packages labeled unsulfured or no sulfur dioxide and store them in a cool, dark place or in your refrigerator to preserve their nutritional potency. Your muscles have been waiting for this golden fruit, and it is never too late to give them what they need. So, there you have it. 5 extraordinary fruits that science has shown can help you build and maintain muscle after 75 in ways that eggs and traditional protein sources simply cannot match on their own. From the tropical muscle rebuilding power of jackfruit, to the anti-inflammatory protection of guava, to the mitochondria reviving properties of dried mulberries, to the cell membrane repairing genius of avocado, and finally, to the satellite cell activating power of dried apricots. Each of these fruits brings something unique and specific to the challenge of maintaining muscle mass after 75 that no other food category addresses in quite the same way. None of these require complicated recipes, expensive supplements, or hours in the kitchen. They are simple, natural, affordable foods that you can begin adding to your diet today with your very next meal or snack. Building muscle after 75 is not just about looking stronger or feeling better, although both of those things absolutely matter, and both are within reach. It is about maintaining your independence, staying out of care facilities, keeping your balance to prevent the falls that change everything, being able to enjoy your life on your own terms for as many years as possible. Your muscles are ready to respond. They simply need the right fuel. I am Dr. Lauren Hayes. If this information was valuable to you today, please subscribe so you never miss another video that could make a real difference to your health. Share this with a woman or man over 75 in your life who deserves to know that their strength is not simply gone. It is waiting to be unlocked. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.